What's up, guys? What's the best way to prepare for the unexpected? It's not about stockpiling the most gear or spending a fortune on the latest gadgets. It's about starting small, mastering the basics, and building from there. In today's video, we're going to talk about why taking it step by step is the key to survival and preparedness. Stick around. We might just save your life, but we're absolutely going to save your wallet. You know, one of my friends, he is an equipment operator, and he's got, like, you look at all the equipment that he runs, and like, I am envious. He's got like giant excavators, forestry mulchers, tiny excavators, skid steers, bulldozers, off-road dump trucks. Like, it's a little boy's wet dream. Like, when you're playing in the sand pit, you wanted to grow up to be this guy. And I met him in the store the other day, and he said, despite having all that equipment, I asked him what he was working on, and he said, today's a wooden handle day. And I was like, what does that mean? And he was saying, we're going to have to be with the shovel, be using the shovel, even when he's got, millions of dollars worth of equipment. And it reminded me that even though we have access to the tools and technology, the importance to start small and start completely primitively. This is why we've built our classes to be the way they are. But that's how you can save the most money, learn the most, and regardless of situations, affects your survival positively. History is our example, right? History is the record of technology and the application of that technology. And survival is learning how to do without while building the tools from the landscape. What's the quote? Like, those who cannot remember the past are condemned to repeat it. We can't positively affect our surroundings without knowing where we came from. So that's why today we're going to be talking about, like, starting small and the practicality of mastering the basics before you move on to the next round. And it's like, how do you build a house too? First we get the foundation and we, like, build up building blocks. But, like, the overarching analogy is, like, if you buy an excavator, you're still going to need a shovel. So this is why, like, if we focus on the survival skills and then add tools to our equation, having the base knowledge and then adding more tools to it, that's the way to get the most out of your dollar and application in whatever you're trying to build. So some people want to get, like, the biggest and baddest knife or axe or whatever, but you still need a tiny knife for, like, wood carving and trap triggers, right? If you need an axe, you might need it for splitting and stuff, but there's wood all around us. And with a small knife, we can craft like wedges to split wood with, or use little cuts to break larger pieces of wood, or use little cuts to create a bow drill. Now we have fire to then, like, burn larger logs and cut them down. Where if we have, like, a super big machete, we won't be able to do those fine detail cuts as easily. Actually, this cut on my left hand is the remnants of a scar that I got from trying to use an axe to create a bow drill. So we have to start small, right? It's like, bug out vehicles are great, right? But, like, at some point, would it behoove us to have a backpack before we built a bug out vehicle? And probably, if we look at the military, right, they have, like, the day packs, and then that, like, what is it? The illy pack or something? ILL. I don't know, whatever. It's neither here nor there. But their bag system has, like, a large pack and then has smaller bags that they can take off depending on, like, the mission, whatever the mission is dictating. It's a very common mistake to skip the basics and go straight to the big ticket items without the basic knowledge. Like, who doesn't love solar panels? Who doesn't love, like, solar cook stoves? Who doesn't love, like, even like, the flashiest gear, right? And it's easy to get caught up into that YouTube wormhole of, like, what's the latest and greatest. Next thing you know, you're like, oh, I need a machine gun. Oh, I need, like, you need, like, the latest and greatest sniper rifle that's going to be shooting stuff from, like, a mile and a half away when you don't have a pistol. We talked about this in our, like, gun buying video, but we need to start small and then move up from there. Like in the shovel and excavator example, like start with a shovel maybe, or even a digging stick if we're doing it completely primitively. Move to a shovel, then we might get a wheelbarrow in there too, and then we're gonna move to the excavator, right? So each step builds on the last and the skills gained at each level. Like you can't be a excavator operator without understanding like contour lines and how to do that with the shovel. And you can't use a laser level. Well, I guess you can, right? But you can't use like a laser level or an optical level and a grade rod and like shoot grade without first understanding like an A-frame level. So all of these things start small, start completely primitively, and then move up from there. Food storage is the same. It's like, what, you're gonna start with like, a root cellar and, multiple years worth of food and just buy it all at one time? Or are you going to go to the store and buy like one can at a time or add a little bit on to your daily or weekly grocery trip, whenever it is you go, but just like slowly adding to your stash. And then you build up to a month, and then you build up to a year, then you build up to multiple years. Now you're providing for your community, and you've moved from that preparation to production pipeline that we talk about all the time. Moving from like survivalist into a homesteader. Like what's going to be the most efficient for you? And even if you buy all this food, there's so many like survival food packs that I've seen that just have like powdered eggs and like food that's really terrible. And if you're not storing what you're eating, that's another video in itself. But like back to starting small, moving in the larger direction. Think concentric rings of preparation. It's like building a cabin without having a tarp or a tent. Like even in the process of building a debris hut, like it helps to have a tarp. It's like building an underground bunker without having a tarp shelter first. So this is why we stage our survival shelter progression. And first we build the debris hut, then we build a lean-to off the debris hut, then we can build like larger, like a wiki up from there, and have our ability to sleep and stay warm. Now we're staying dry as we build or as we have like a little rain cover that we can sit under and like work out of, and now we have a fire. And then we have like a larger structure where multiple people are sitting in there. But we stage that progression so that we're not spending hours and hours and hours building a wiki up without, and then we still need to have a fire in there. We still need to like make sure that it's insulated, and it would be much better to have everybody have their own debris hut, maybe built in a star fashion, that then the wiki up could sit in. Between that, if we're doing like larger things. But the simple takeaway is this: that like skills come before gear, and gear should build on the skills that we've learned and we've mastered, or at least familiar with. So like knowledge and practical application is way more critical than having the super advanced mylar line sleeping bags or whatever. It's like starting a fire with ferro rods, starting a fire with matches, starting with a bow drill. And this is why we harp on friction fires so much, is because if you know the structure and how to do a friction fire, regardless of what technology you have, you're going to be successful because you studied the organization. Fire building, survival, homesteading, it's all just an exercise in organization. But if you don't know that organization, it doesn't matter if you have gasoline and a flamethrower. The difficulty for you to create a fire, okay, maybe a flamethrower is a different story. But even then, I think like the World War II flamethrowers, they were only getting like 20 seconds of fuel. So like, I mean, how long is that really gonna last you? So you start small, move on from there, and let's talk about like the financial aspect of it. Like if you're spending a lot of money, or even worse, spending a lot of money and going into debt to do this by buying like a huge larder of food, it's gonna be costly. Now, let's say you buy something only to learn that that's not what you needed, or like you built, something or a greenhouse in a shady spot, or you built something over your septic tank. Like the risks are that much greater when you go large scale. And there's less flexibility there. There's like it's harder to adjust your plans because you've already spent a lot of resources, spent a lot of time, and it just doesn't change that easily. It's easy to have the misconception, right? Bigger is better, or you need everything all at once. No, you need skills, and you need a experienced mentor to give you the breakdown of those things, so you're not like spending your wheels. This is why we say all the time that we know our classes will shave decades off the time it would take you to learn that stuff on your own. So just to summarize, like the incremental value of learning things is the way to do it. And take a real assessment of where you are now. Know where you want to go. We talk about the OODA loop all the time: observe, orient, and then pick which direction you want to go and like act on it, right? And then reevaluate. This is like the easiest way to do it. Don't be like keeping up with the Joneses is a great example. Like, don't be trying to compare your year one to somebody else's year 20. At the end of the day, it's about progress, but the way that we should dictate our progress is based on like tangible skills. If you've made it this far in the video, I know you have a passion for life and are serious about surviving whatever the universe throws at you. Drop us a like and subscribe so you never miss a video. But ultimately, sustainablehomestead.com is the place to go for this information. There you can find our in-person classes where we'll shave decades off the time it would take you to learn this stuff on your own, from survival to permaculture, becoming that producer rather than a prepper, moving from that preparedness to a production, so we're building abundance for ourselves, our family, our community. I highly encourage you to get in on the Homestead Mastermind call. It's a Wednesday night Zoom call where we're talking about just what I said before: building abundance for ourselves, our families, and our communities. There's a wonderful group of like-minded individuals there, from farmers, ranchers, survivalists, project managers, homesteaders, and it's a huge gamut of people wanting to make sure that you do it faster and cheaper than they did. A huge resource of experience, and it's the cheapest way to kind of get in without spending a lot of money. We always say, preparedness today means peace of mind tomorrow, and we'll see you in the future. Thanks for watching.